What's going on, world? It's your main man, Kareem A. Rashid, the voice and the host of Clearing the Wreckage. Yes, and we got another great episode for you today. Once again, I don't know if you're driving to work. If you are, keep your ears open, but keep your eyes focused on the road. I don't know if you're on the toilet, but if you are, be sure to flush. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What's happening, world? We got episode 7. Can you believe I'm on the 7th episode of doing this podcast? I just started out. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, this is really awesome. I'm so happy to have you here with me on this journey. Episode 7. What are we going to talk about today, Kareem? Well, I want to kind of clear some things up. Let's clear some wreckage up, shall we? That's what I want to do today, for sure. That's what I want to do. The episode is going to be about understanding what wreckage is. And once we see it, we acknowledge it, we admit it. Ooh, we get to that place of seeking help. Ooh, we get to that place of knowing we're not alone. Ooh, we get to that place of surrender. Then it's like, well, now what? But first, I want to give you concise, clear definition of wreckage, because I think some of you, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, so what do you mean? Look, man, some of y'all are confused with what this podcast is about. It's about me, first of all. Let's get that straight. It's about me clearing the wreckage in my life. It's about me clearing the wreck, clearing the mind, clearing those negative thoughts, clearing the ego, clearing anything, my selfishness, my addiction, my alcoholism, anything that stands in the way. I am not going to live in wreckage. I am going to clear. I'm not going to live in desolation, in destruction, and havoc, because I've reaped it all my life. Now I need to clear it up. So let me just make it clear. I'm going to use that word a lot. In the Learner's Dictionary of American English, wreckage as the noun means the act of wrecking or state of being wrecked. The remains of something that has been wrecked. In the Unabridged Dictionary of American English, I'm just going to state these definitions to you. If you don't understand or comprehend, it's up to you now. Like, I'm going to do my part. The act of wrecking or state of being wrecked. The second definition, remains or fragments of something that has been wrecked. In the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, again, something that has been wrecked. The second definition, I like this one, broken. For those of you who do know me, for those of you who don't know, I am an author of a book called Broken Just Like Twigs. I'm already on this path. I've already been on this path, all right, of clearing the wreckage. I've already been on a path and a journey of self-discovery. It says broken and disordered parts. OMG, disordered parts. Like, all right, so let's break down alcoholism and addiction. For those of you who don't know, it is a disease. The American Medical Association has deemed it that. There's no cure for it. And it is a mental disorder. It's a mental disorder and disease, basically, in a nutshell. Now, if you would like to go do your own research on it, so be it. But I'm letting you know, for me as a recovering alcoholic and addict, my mental state is disordered. The parts are disordered. There's imbalance, chemical imbalance. It's disordered. I am trying to clear the wreckage, the wreckage that is up there. All right? So that's what this podcast is all about. If you are listening, something caught your attention by the title, something caught your attention somehow, some way, I don't know. Or you're like, man, I want to clear the wreckage in my life too. Let me listen to this guy. I'm glad you're here. That is what wreckage means. So we've got the definition out of the way. Some synonyms are, and I've already named some of them, destruction, desolation, devastation, ruin, havoc, debris. There you go. There you go. So with that being said, let's talk about the person I left at the hotel room. So I left you at the last episode. I said I had to leave I left that hotel room. I packed my bags, and she was looking at me like, where the hell are you going? Why are you leaving? She had just bought alcohol back to the hotel. She had just bought, let's just say alcohol. She brought more stuff back to the hotel, but that's none of your business. Maybe it is. She bought more drugs. And we were about to have a party. We were just about to have a party, and calls a wreck and more wreckage was about to be created, and more havoc amongst us both. So I'll give you a little backstory of this relationship, how it started. This is the person that I was with at the time that my mom kicked me out and we went to the woods. This person, I started dating her a couple of years before that, and I had got her kicked out of her own home. This is how wrecked up I was, and this is the wreckage that I've caused, not in my life, just in mine, but even in hers. It seeped over, projected onto her mom, onto her family. Ooh, I'm a wreck. And due to the wreckage inside of my mind, I was deceitful, lying, sneaky. I wanted to still go to her house, even though her mother was going out of town. Her mother gave her clear instructions: do not have anybody over my house. I persuaded. I was cunning, baffling, and powerful in my persuasion on my girlfriend at that time to say, nope, I'm coming over as soon as I get off from work. It's Friday night. You already know what time it is. And that's what I did. And she wasn't supposed to come back to Sunday. She came back the next night, and she saw all of the havoc, all of the wreckage. I mean, I had drugs on the table. I mean, if you saw Scarface, it wasn't that much, but it was like, I had drugs on the table. I mean, I had alcohol everywhere. I mean, she came back to complete wreckage, complete chaos. And then wreckage was projected upon her daughter by her being kicked out due to my crap, to my debris, to my havoc, to my destruction that I cause when I am in a relationship with someone. All right, so there you go. So that's the backstory with me and her. So we both were partaking in this lifestyle, right? All right, so I've already crashed into her and caused major wreck and left destruction and debris and wreckage behind, right? So let's take the analogy of the cars. So my friend who I called that night at the hotel, he was the wrecker. He was there to take my car, me, away from that hotel room. He basically removed me. My mother, whom I've shared about this in the previous episodes, it was almost like she was the impound. And the guy that I had met, whom I had lunch with, it was almost like he was, like the impound as well. A safe space, right? A safe space. And then the recovery meetings that I was going to on Monday night with the men, that was almost like the body shop, right? So you catching this analogy? All right, so this is not a podcast about cars wrecking against each other. This is an analogy that I'm using, so let me just clear that up too. We're about clearing the wreckage. Any wreckage that you got going on in your head right now is going to be cleared, damn it, because that's not what this is about. All right? So after leaving that hotel, being at mom's for a few, weeks on end, I had to decide whether I wanted to keep clearing the wreckage or go back to it. In fact, I had to decide that daily. Once I welcomed the posture of surrender and I embraced it, it was almost like a fight between my conscience and I can actually hear it now. I could hear it so clearly. When I was using alcohol and drugs, my self-centeredness, my selfishness, that voice was drowned out by exactly what Kareem wanted to do and when Kareem wanted to do it. All the time. It was drowned out. So I was a complete wreck myself. So my relationship was a wreck with her. And there was plenty of wreckage involved and left over from it. Obviously, as I just shared that story with you, with her being, man, I caused that crap. Her getting kicked out of mom's house, I did that. That was on me. That was on me. So after a wreck, they normally remove both cars. One's either totaled, a total wreck, or one could just be fractured. Who knows? In my case, we both were pretty wrecked. However, it was not about her ruin. It was not about her wreckage. It was about me. It was about me. Right? So, now I'm surrendered. So now what? Now what? Do I go back to the wreckage? It's very, very tempting to go right back and wallow in the destruction that I was already in because I'm so familiar with it. But again, like I told you, the right and the wrong, I can hear those voices now. I can hear, and the good voice, I would hear that a little bit louder now. Like, hey, nah, man, don't do that, man. You know what you need to do? You need to separate yourself. You need to separate yourself. You need to have that wrecker put this body on top of it and drive it to the freaking impound, and then you need to go to the body shop and repair yourself. For real, folks. So I was hearing that voice clearly, and thank God I was beginning to listen to my mentor, listen to my conscience, tell me the right thing to do. And so finally I gave her a call. I contacted her, and we both, it was very nice because it almost was like we both came to the agreement. Like, yeah, we're better off not together. We're both wrecks. We're no use to one another. What good is our cars anymore? What good is our bodies? What good is our minds? We're no use to one another. We're just full of destruction. We're full of wreckage. We're gonna tear each other down. And so I'm really grateful for the experience that it was a little bit easy. When I say easy, I mean the conversation I had with her. It was hard as hell to leave this person whom, let me just share with you, was my rock. And I'm getting real vulnerable with you right now. This person was with me through thick and thin, through everything. Hell, she even got kicked out my mom's house with me and went to the woods and lived with me. You think I wanted to leave someone like that who I thought had my back, who was my ride or die? But it was because here's more wreckage involved. The wreckage in my mind, in my brain, in my mentality is that I had low self-worth. We're going to talk about that in a later episode. But I just want to be vulnerable with you so you can know that. Low self-worth is what caused me to stay in that wreckage and not want to leave that wreckage. Low self-worth. Anyway, so now what? Now what? I stay the course. I just stay the course. And it got easier as the days went by to stay the course. Do not return to that hotel room. I don't care how much you love her. I don't care how much you want to have sex with her. You got to stay away, because if you don't, you will go back to your life of wreckage and destruction of using alcohol and drugs. And now you're beginning to clear that. You can see the hope. You can see the horizon. Why turn back now? You see this in your mentor. You saw that his wife divorced him. You saw that, but now you see that he's in a relationship with another female and he's about to get remarried, and you see that his kids now adore him and look up to him. You see the hope. Do not go back to darkness, because you now see the light. So let me ask you this question, folks. Are you committed to the body shop? To stand in the body shop, hey, just be in that car that's just like, hey, you can do whatever you want, as long as I get repaired, right? Are you committed to being repaired? Are you committed to listening or having a mentor or having someone in your life to guide you? Are you committed to, listening to the voice? That higher self, your higher power guiding you, saying, hey, go this way. Are you committed to separating yourself from the wreck if you have to? Separating yourself from the wreckage. And lastly, are you committed and are you ready to clear your own wreckage? And if you're here with me today, you are. And I'm so glad you're here. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Again, as I leave you every time, take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Until next time, peace.